I think I'm going to take this time to talk with you about sort of why we do what we do at the restaurant. We started Claire's on September 17th, 1975. And a week from today will be our 46th anniversary, which is next to impossible to believe. Actually, I met Josiah when he was at Yale. And what year was that?
Probably around 1988, 89.
88, 89. So we were already in business 13 years by the time Josiah came to Yale. But Josiah is one example of sort of why we do what we do. We get to meet people who do such important work in this community. And the place is like a magnet. If we send out an alert that we need backpacks for kids, we get so many, we usually have to rent a van. If we send out an alert that we need toys for kids or back to school supplies, people open their hearts and open their arms and bring them in. So Claire's is, yes, it's a vegetarian restaurant. Yes, we make homemade food, but it's a part of the community that we're so proud of. And so many small businesses can be that. And we're so happy to be among so many who do in our city. So we started out really just wanting to make homemade food, making homemade dressings, which seemed impossible back in 1975 to get in a restaurant. And I was in nursing school, and I had graduated from nursing school and was a nurse, a psychiatric nurse, actually, at the Connecticut Mental Health Center, and met a lot of wonderful people there who helped us. Clifford Beer's Clinic is one. If it wasn't for cooking in the restaurant, I wouldn't have met the CASA people. So many of the organizations that we help because we met them through Claire's. We try to use as much organic as we can, but we follow the environmental working group with the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 13. But we buy as much organic as we can. And we try to make pretty much everything from scratch. And we have an amazing staff. So if you happen to be in the New Haven area, come visit us because they are awesome. And if there's a way that you think we can help or something special you would like to see, don't hesitate to ask, because that's why we're there. So I want to know if there are any questions you guys have. No questions? Okay, good. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start putting the crostini with a little bit of the cheese spread on it and get ready for our beets. Now this is delicious just like this. You could have just that and have it just with the cheese. You can use this cheese and put a little tomato topping, like a tomato bruschetta on top. You could just chop tomatoes, especially this time of year with the gorgeous summer tomatoes. You could just chop fresh tomatoes and put them with a little olive oil and a little tiny bit of chopped red onion and garlic. And then we also like to put a little basil in there. You can throw in some capers, and that's delicious on top. Another good topping for this is a fig topping. You could take these figs, the dried figs that we had, and you could actually boil it in the orange juice. Bring it on and simmer it until the figs are nice and soft and tender. And then you could, again, take a potato masher and start mashing them and make like a puree. You could even put it in the food processor to puree it, and you can make your own fig spread and put that on top of this. My sister-in-law, Kathy, does this beautiful caramelized onion. And then she puts a fig spread on top of that. So this is the base for everything. If you have crostini in your house, you can invite guests over last minute. You can invite your work buddies, your school friends, and they can come over and have a little snack, and it would be perfect. Okay, so we're just going to get these ready until we get our beets going. Okay, and we're going to have extra of this, so we can put it aside. Actually, you know what? I have more crostini, and we have people here who I'm sure will help us eat it. So I'm going to put a few more to use up a little more of the cheese. You could also save the leftover cheese, and you can put it, have it for a sandwich during your work day. You could put it inside an omelet, which would be great. Okay. And actually, it's really good on a pizza too. You could put that on your pizza if you're making, and you could do it with a flatbread pizza, where you could do it even with like a tortilla and spread this on it. It's also delicious. You can use it for a quesadilla. Put it on your tortilla and then put some sliced tomatoes maybe some plant-based bacon and make a quesadilla with it. Okay, so we've used some of that, and I'm just going to save the rest of this. I'm sure it will get eaten over the next day or two by someone who visits. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside here, and I'm going to take a peek and see how the artichokes look. So I want to make sure the water level is the same. And if it's not, I could add a little more water. But if you add more water, make sure you add a little more salt and pepper, and then maybe even a splash more of olive oil if you feel you need to, if it doesn't look as though you have a little bit of oil in there left, because you want it to be flavored nicely. Okay, and then let's test those beets and see if they're getting it all tender. No, they're going to take more time. That's okay. Okay, all right. So tell me something. Would someone like to say a few words? I think we have much more to say about casa, that's for sure.